A little bit. Just a little bit. A little bit good. That's all I know.
If I were allowed one act of sadism, I would feed Mike Huckabee LSD and leave him to introspect. Huckabee publicly declared that women can only be impregnated by a rapist if they subconsciously decide to be. I suppose the flip end of that is that the thousands of people receiving fertility treatment simply don't want it enough.
Regarding the charges of rape, both defendants, Malik Richmond and Trenton Mays, are committed to the Department of Youth Services for a minimum period of 1 year, a maximum period till you're 21.
I've never experienced anything like it, Candy. It was incredibly emotional, incredibly difficult even for an outsider like me to watch what happened as these two young men that had such promising futures, star football players, very good students, literally watched as they believed their life fell apart. One of the young men, Malik Richmond, when that sentence came down, he collapsed. He collapsed in the arms of his attorney, Walter Madison. He said to him, "My life is over. No one is going to want me now."
Rape trials can be just as traumatic as rape, if not more. The skepticism is damaging. People said they didn't believe me when I was in college, that I was too normal. What they meant was, you don't fit my Hollywood version of an SVU rape victim. You should be wrapped in a blanket, shivering and crying. I believe the skepticism contributes to the fucked up fact that 98% of rapists never see a day in jail. Let's restate this as, if you rape someone, there's a 98% chance you'll get away with it. Make it a PSA and air it on national TV. Why not? It's true. When I returned to school as an adult, a friend jokingly asked, quote, how he met so many raped bitches, end quote. That's because 1 in 4 American women will be the victim of sexual assault. That means that every American female is 1,250 times more likely to become a rape victim than the likelihood of her rapist seeing a day in jail. So thank you, Mr. Huckabee, for campaigning on behalf of rapists who impregnate their victims. Thank you for making the whole thing seem even more shameful and subject to skepticism. Thank you for attempting to shame women into keeping their rape babies. Let's find you an 11-year-old girl who, by your logic, secretly desired to carry a child fathered by her father. You can look her in the eye and shame her into nurturing the inbred embodiment of her trauma, lest she burn in hell. What a hero. Only 32 out of every 100 rapists are reported to the police. But please, humor me and imagine the following scenario. You have just been held down and forced to interact with someone's genitals. It has been a horrible, painful, degrading experience. You feel like prey, like worthless trash, and you're probably in shock. You've been stripped of all basic human rights. Gone is your ego, sense of self-worth, security, and well-being. Pause. Of the 32 reported, 7 will be arrested. 3 of those 7 go to trial, and 2 of those 3 serve jail time. Unpause. You feel powerless and ashamed. You spent your whole life believing that no one could take those things unless you let them. But they're gone, and all it took was a few minutes and 1 person. You're not exactly in the mood to fight a war when you've just been so easily defeated. You go home, and the members of your household sense that something is wrong. They pry it out of you. If they have never been the victim of sexual assault, they will freak the fuck out, call the police, and tell you to go to the hospital to complete a rape kit. This means hanging out with a speculum-armed stranger, and that is the last thing you want to do. But when you communicate that, the response is almost certainly, what if they do it to someone else? That's not fucking fair. Choosing not to report a rape does not make you a fucking rapist. You have never been in control of that person's actions. In fact, fuck everyone who has ever said that to a rape victim. You have absolutely no idea what you're saying or what you're asking them to do. Here's what you are saying. Someone just did something terrible to you. You are now responsible for their behavior. As humans, we desperately want to see justice when loved ones are hurt or wronged. But don't make a victim responsible for his or her rapist because you want to see evil fall and justice prevail. This goes for any kind of abuse. It's not that simple, ever. You are requesting that they A. Take responsibility for the future behavior of someone they never want to think about again. B. Feel shittier and even more ashamed of what just happened because of what might happen. C. Surrender their body to a stranger's medical evaluation that will make them feel violated and objectified. After being raped, the rational lines that separate sexual abuse and medical examination are understandably blurred. D. Retell the experience 4,500 times to hospital staff, law enforcement, lawyers, friends, family, etc. E. Go to trial and spend a day facing their rapist and his or her lawyer. F. Repeat what happened several more times so the defense can attempt to poke holes in the story. G. Trust that justice really will prevail, lest they become the one who cried rape. H. Fear the possibility of being found in 10 to 15 years, maximum sentence if the rape is considered non-violent and the victim is not a child. I. Wonder if they did the right thing now that they've had their head professionally fucked with. Not to mention the high possibility that the person behind bars is a former friend or loved one. It is not a decision to take lightly. It would, however, be an easier decision if home rape kits could be purchased. It would be an easier decision if the victim were granted separate trial or were in any way protected. Options for victims are traumatic, and they get blamed.